How to use a cascading style sheet. We use three different methods for styling our elements. We can use a style attribute, which is known as the inline styling method, but then we need to individually style every element, and that takes a lot of time. Then we can use the style element and put our CSS inside every single page, and again that goes up in the head section of your HTML. But what happens if we need to change one style? Well, then we need to open up every single page and edit every single page. Now that might be okay if you have, I would say, less than 10 pages, because that's not going to take too much time. However, let's say you have a website that has 100 pages. You don't want to open up 100 pages and copy and paste the same line or the same fix over and over and over again. Not only is that really boring, it's monotonous, and it really turns you away from CSS. Now, alternatively, we can use the link method and link our page to a CSS file. Before we get into that, let's look at inline styling. We can style almost every element using the style attribute and adding CSS into its value. The example is this. We have our div element with our style attribute. Background color is equal to black, which is 000, and color is our property for changing our font color, is FFF, which is white. And it will display this. This is very useful if we give this div element a class and or ID. If we apply the style attribute after the class and ID attributes, then our style will override the class and IDs. But then we need to do this to every element. This method is best used on very specific elements. Now let's look at internal style sheets. As an alternative, we can use internal style sheets. To do this, we use the style element and add our CSS inside it. The style element must go inside the head of your HTML, and it looks like this. So we have our doc type, we have our head, and our style goes in here. And inside of our style, we have our CSS. So what we did is we turned the color, which is our font color, blue. And it turned it blue. The downside to using internal style sheets is that you have to copy all the CSS onto every page, or rewrite it, but you'd probably just copy it. But let's say you made a mistake or you want to change something. You'd have to go into every single page and change every style attribute. Now that can make for a really long day. That can make you not like CSS anymore. Frankly, that can actually turn you off enough to stop developing the website that you're on. Now we can fix all this by putting all of our CSS into one file and accessing it from every page. And this is where external sheets come in. If we put all of our CSS into one external file and needed to change something, add or remove anything, or fix a styling problem, we can easily open our external style sheet and fix the problem. And once that problem is fixed, it will affect all the pages that are linked in using the link element, and that will fix all the problems for every page that is linked into the CSS file using the link element. The link element must also go inside the head, and there are no exceptions to that. So as you see here, we have a full page, we have a head, close our head, and our link goes in here. The link element connects our current page to the style.css file, which is what we called it. You can have any other name. You could have my cascading style sheet is really awesome.css, and you can have that as your name. And just like an anchor, which is hypertext link, we use the href attribute. Now if we put all of our CSS inside this file, we can access all the CSS that's in it from any page using the link and modify every one of our page's presentation by changing just this one file. It makes everything a lot more convenient for you. Now if you missed the HTML part of this, I'll go over it real quick. REL is your relationship. Style sheet, it's the only one that's supported in all 5 browsers as of right now. Type is text/CSS, and you're going to want all of that in there. Now this is the preferred method, and that's just because having all of your CSS in one page and linking every page to it saves you so much time in the future when you want to add more styles or change a style, or if you don't like the way your page is being colored or fonted or padded, then you can change that and it will take place on every page. I'd also like to let you know that the link element, you should also know that you can link to more than one style sheet. So you can actually link to a dozen style sheets if you like, 5 or 6, or just the one. And that's the 3 methods of using styles.